$1 trillion. Overall, the biggest U.S. banks collectively have more than $247 trillion of exposure to derivatives contracts. This is an amount of money that is more than 13 times the size of the U.S. national debt. And it's a ticking time bomb that could set off financial Armageddon at any moment. This is gambling on the future of the world economy on an unprecedented scale. And just like every other bubble before it, the too-big-to-fail derivatives bubble will burst. The bubble to end all bubbles because of its sheer size. It's inflated to a size far greater than the dot-com bubble and the mortgage CDO bubble combined. This is the final piece of the puzzle. The Fed interest rate hike, the experts claiming everything is okay, the real economy slowing down, and the bubble that is inflated to an unsustainable size. If history repeats itself, 2016 will be the year big banks come crashing down, and the Fed and our government are totally powerless to stop them. Their safety net is made out of straws. It took extraordinary efforts to prop up the big banks in 2008. During Obama's presidency, the U.S. debt doubled, reaching almost $19 trillion. Yet the economy grew at a modest pace of 2% per year. Compare that to the doubling of the derivatives market, and you begin to realize the level of economic pain we are about to feel. This will make the Great Depression of the 30s and the Great Recession of 2008 feel like a picnic. So what would a crash look like? You need only to picture what happened in Greece to get an idea. The first thing that happened is that all the banks closed. The only way people could get their money out was with ATM withdrawals. And they were limited to 60 euros a day. That's about $63. Ask yourself this. If the banks close in the U.S., could you live with $63 per day? Immediately, huge lines formed in front of ATMs. People waited in the scorching heat for hours to get a tiny fraction of their savings and deposits out. 17% of the Greek population is currently unable to meet their daily needs for food. Approximately 30% are living below the poverty line. The official unemployment rate is 27%, 52% of under 25s. In Athens, Greece's capital, one of these is 53-year-old Athenian Vasilis Dimopoulos, who used to earn up to 3,000 euros per month until his employer folded in 2008. I sold my home in 2007, though the small profit I made is now gone. I was on the streets for 6 months, he said. Now, Dimopoulos lives in a Red Cross hostel selling Athens street paper, Shadia. Dionysia Michalidou, retiree. I have no insurance. I have no pension. I have nothing. Since the crisis, suicides have increased by roughly 50%. Emmy Christoulis, daughter of suicide victim. If one Greek was to take up a Kalashnikov, I would be the second. I find no other solution than that of a dignified exit before I begin searching through the garbage for my food. I believe that one day, because the younger generation has no future, they will take up arms and hang the traitors of the nation. Keep in mind that Greece received bailouts in 2015, and yet this is the situation there. Who will be able to bail out the world's largest economy? No one. The crisis brought by the collapse of the too-big-to-fail banks will be global, and it will dwarf anything the world has ever seen. Personally, I expect that everything that happened in Greece will happen in the U.S., but on a much greater scale, and the impacts will be far worse. I have studied economics for the past 35 years. I have seen it go through good times, and I have studied the bad ones. I went through the numbers over and over again, thinking this is not real, thinking I had made a mistake somewhere. But many other economic experts say the same thing. The same experts who warned us about the crisis coming in 2008 are all sounding the alarm bells. Peter Schiff, Gerald Celente, Mark Faber, and many others are predicting a disaster for 2016. To be completely honest with you, I'm afraid for my future and the future of my family. I knew I had to do something to prepare for the worst economic crisis in our lifetime. But where to start and what to do? While doing my research for this presentation, I discovered what Americans did during the last 3 financial meltdowns, which strategies worked, and which condemned hundreds of thousands to poverty. If this presentation made any sense to you, if you have begun to understand the economic gun that's pointed at the head of every U.S. citizen, then you need to take the following information very seriously. The first aim of this project was to warn people, just like you,